Details of those stories now. Ghana lost in excess of 30 million cedis in revenue from a transaction at the bulk oil storage and transportation company BOST involving an unlicensed company. That's according to the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers COPEC, which says it has uncovered another scandal at the company. Among others, COPEC is alleging the losses were at every stage of the value chain, from the sale of some 1.8 million barrels of crude oil to fees for holding the rest of the crude. The transaction, which was undertaken in September last year, comes only months after a major scandal involving the sale of some 5 million litres of contaminated fuel to 38 unlicensed companies happened. Here is Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa.
So there's been a sale of 1.8 million barrels of crude. The initial volume was about 2 million barrels, which TOR had processed some. As to whether it is being accounted for properly, that is another day's issue. Now, it is on record that BOST, who imported the product, has sold off. Now, the question as to whether it was right to sell is another question that would also, have to be answered in the coming days. What we found, however, is to the effect that BOST went selling at a time that prices were going up on the world market. BOST was the only company across the world that was selling crude for lower, than the benchmark. At the time prices were going up by the day, it moved from the 50s to 60, it even crossed 70. BOST was the only company across the world that would agree to sell crude at a discount of $2. Not $1. BOST could have sold this product cheaply for the Brent plus a premium of $0.82 as of September 2017. BOST decided to negotiate and agree on a discount whose basis you struggle hard to fathom. We've probed and pushed for answers. They are not coming. The only bit we now realize is that a transactional loss of about $5.4 million would have been occasioned per this transaction alone from BOST and BB Energy. The bit that is also intriguing is that you are selling products in tank at Temoyo refinery to a company that is not licensed by the NPA.
So when did this happen?
In September 2017, about 5 months ago. And then you find a sale having been carried out as we speak. Even the amount for $54 that was agreed to be paid, not everything has been settled 5-6 months down the line. We do not think that if it was a personal company built by an individual who had these products, he would agree to undertake these kinds of transactions. And what you find quite more revealing is that the company BB Energy that buys the product is now refining the product at the refinery. It took TOR a couple of months to find out that the product it was holding had been sold. Has BB Energy paid for the storage, between September and now? Is it paying for it? BB Energy is on record to now be paying TOR a tolling fee of $3.5 when in previous times TOR had done tolling of $5.50. Now, TOR is having to accept $3.50 from BB Energy, the private company that buys the crude from BOST. So there are losses across the chain. And we think that the special prosecutor must be interested in this one. IOCO must be interested in this one. The police CID must be interested in this one. If we sit and in one transaction, Ghana loses over 30 million Ghana cedis, then clearly something is missing somewhere. The excuse again is that the crude had been in tank for 8 months. We put on record that we found other countries store crude sometimes beyond 10 years. And they would not go and sell them for cheap because somebody would need to sell and get some money to do whatever he or she wants. Unfortunately, the excuses we've been given along the line by the BOST MD seem untenable, and we think that the special prosecutor must be very interested in this particular matter, go into it and unravel whatever motivation would have led BOST MD to undertake this sort of transaction that will only lead to Ghana losing almost 30 million Ghana cedis within the transaction.
Okay, so do we know who is behind the BB Energy company?
Indeed, we have made our preliminary checks. A name comes up what you are unable to find is that BB Energy doesn't have any tanks in Ghana. It is not a known BDC. Neither is it a known OMC. So you would be wondering, by what stretch of imagination would anybody want to transact an in-tank product? It's not a product aboard a vessel to say that, I mean, he's a trader. Traders can compete. But product in tank, which is not being evacuated, is sold to an unlicensed player. This unlicensed player, as we speak, is refining the product in Tor. And we think that some of the answers so far given are not satisfactory at all. And the EOCO and the CID and the Special Prosecutor must move in on this and unravel exactly what the motivation could have been for BOST undertaking this sort of transaction that is leading all of us to about 30 million losses.
That's Duncan Amwa there. But in a sharp response, BOST describes the allegations as unfortunate and misleading. Here is a response from BOST. I'm going to go through the statements that they sent. The statement issued says Duncan Amwa says it's very unfortunate and misleading. In his statement, he states that at the international level, crude is sold at Brent plus 0.85 per barrel as official price, and therefore BOST has caused financial loss to the state by selling its own at a discount of $2 per barrel. A cargo imported with the aim of refining or using for one purpose but did not materialize, and reselling it about 10 months later cannot be sold at official price. Such a product is considered distressed and is always sold at a discount globally. As we speak, BOST has offers for such distressed cargoes at a discount of $4 per barrel. Any person competent in the industry would have asked for the details before issuing this illogical and baseless statement. Thus, keeping the crude for such a period may affect the quality and, for that matter, the yield. Hence, the assay is a factor in pricing. He further stated that crude price hit $70 per barrel in January 2018. Such moves cause potential damage to the reputation of his fellow human beings and the very company that belongs to all of us. It should be noted here that part of the other parcel of the crude, 10 crude, was refined before Tor broke down. The remaining was given back to the supplier to set off our indebtedness to them.